in this case, we're talking thousands as a handful, but
or hundreds,
depending on how big
percentage-wise, it wasn't really that close.
Right. Yeah, percentage-wise, but the thing is, in terms of the number of votes, you can make really big strides if you just get the right amount of people involved. So, so what was it? And I guess that's the question.
Yeah,
and how does this translate into some of the bigger elections that we got coming up?
Yeah,
obviously.
And a lot of the media, like for instance, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, St. Louis Post-Disgrace, they are doing a victory lap this morning.
Oh, absolutely.
Their headline: right-wing candidates for school boards lose.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a matter of left-wing candidates win. Right-wing candidates lose.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that they're couching it. And, media's had a war against conservatives, particularly in the school districts, because, as we know, these captured institutions, they want children being groomed to think that there are 50 genders, and when you're 8 years old, you should be able to pick what to do with your genitals and not have your parents told about it. They want divisive DEI stuff instead of actual true history, the good, bad, and the ugly. I mean, so they want equity, where I just read an article early this morning about another school district eliminating gifted programs.
Yep, I just saw this
in the name of
Seattle.
Yeah, in Seattle, in the name of equity. They want to use the K through 12 system to train up social justice warrior activists. That's how they see the education system, whereas the reformers come in and say, no, you should educate children because you work for and you serve the parents. And that message did not sell this election. So, yes, the voters, I disagree with what the voters said, but the voters spoke.
Yeah.
So is it a matter of we need to rebrand the message, or is it a matter of we need to do a better job winning hearts and minds? I mean, yes, when you're overwhelmed by the teachers unions, and we know that we know they lie, we know that that's a machine. When you get overwhelmed with media, that's something you have to fight. Most people don't spend a lot of time dissecting each of the candidates and the policy positions.
Oh yeah,
they vote for who they like, and what happened is the media and the establishment got scared and they demonized the conservative candidates, and that worked.
And it works every time, doesn't it? Or at least it seems to. Yeah. Now, I do wonder how far this is going to go in the larger, in the national election that's coming up, and also there are local elements, statewide, and then local elements that are going to be on those ballots as well. How much of the problem that we experienced this election is going to translate into that one?
See, that's a great point, because what happens now? Somebody's saying, "Man, I was going to run next year, but now I'm kind of scared to do it." I mean, you've got the media calling people, racist, and you've got people attacking, those who were in office. You've got people showing up at the meetings and getting in your face physically. At one point, I talked to a school board member who literally had activists blocking him from getting to his vehicle.
Oh my gosh!
Because they wanted to scream at him over the DEI and the the other stuff. And he would have had to put hands on people in front of all the cameras,
right,
just to get to his car. Well, that's a tactic of the left too. They want to scare people out of running for office.
Right.
So those are some of those residual effects. Because when the conservatives won, media and the pundits treat it like an aberration. When the leftists win, well, that's just getting things back to normal, and thank God we got. I mean, that's how that's pitched.
That's how they present
it. So
it's
an ostracizing those who are trying to reform and shake these captured establishments away from the fringe left.
Oh yeah, and the intimidation tactics, to be fair, it kind of works on a lot of people.
Yeah.
For instance, there's never any chance that I'm going to run for any office ever, just because of what I see that they can and have done to people's families. And I would never put my wife through that.
I have run for office. I've won. I've lost. I've done both. I have served in office. I'm not going to run again. I think that I can contribute more by shining the spotlight and amplifying the good voices out there for it is. But that's crossed my mind too. I mean, there are people that have asked my wife to run for office for years, and she's like, "No way."
Oh yeah.
They've asked me to run for office. Nope. Stop asking. Ain't happening.
Not gonna happen.
Been there, done that, and I don't want to put my family through that again. But I think I've got a better role to do it here, and I want you out there, if you're thinking about running, I don't want you to be scared off by it, but I want you to be equipped for it.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to figure out how to do here.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, 314-912-1019. We've got Danny Define.
Yeah.
Going to be here with us in the studio. We've got some great additions coming to News Talk STL. By the way, the live stream is back up, so Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. You can get back in that chat box. Let's make up for some lost time here. Things are back up, and I'm not going to say normal because it's us. It's not normal, but we are back up technologically normal here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
Can you hear me calling out your name? You know that I'm falling and I don't know what to say. I speak a little louder, I'll even shout. You know that I'm proud and I can't get the words out. Oh,
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I wanna be with you everywhere. I wanna be with you everywhere.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Cold, windy, and at times wet for your Wednesday, with some scattered showers, too. On and off rain in the forecast this morning and this afternoon. Maybe even a wet snowflake or two mixing in. More of that north of St. Louis. Highs in the upper 40s. A cold flow out of the northwest. Sustained winds 15 to 25, gusting at times as high as 40. We're dry tonight, mostly cloudy, down to 37. A stray sprinkle possible Thursday, but it's mainly dry for the Cardinals' home opener. Still chilly, though. Tomorrow's high at 49. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Be the hero that our heroes need. The David Dorn Foundation needs your help for our upcoming Trivia Night event on April 12th. We're on the lookout for raffle baskets packed with surprises for spa days or movie nights. Silent auction treasures. Think gift certificates to a local restaurant, sports collectibles, or concert tickets. Go now to dornfoundation.com to donate. Donating raffle items is your chance to answer the call of duty. The Dorn Foundation, where heroes unite.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
We know a lot of blue state politics create laws that are not beneficial and even harmful. Here's a perfect example. Oregon, 2020. Voters, 58% of them approving to decriminalize most illegal possession of controlled substance, heroin, crack, cocaine. Not going to be criminalized. Now, back in August, 56% said that was a bad decision. Let's turn things back around. And the governor just signed the bill making a U-turn. How bad was it? Well, the Portland mayor at one point 2 months ago declared a 90-day state of emergency for downtown Portland because of the public health and public safety crisis, all fueled by fentanyl. So now the new law makes so-called personal use just a misdemeanor. In other words, it's not really a good, solid answer. It's simply trying to get things better. But at one point, they say in Oregon, in one of their major counties, the death rate went up 530% because of illegal drugs. And one source says dealers acting with indiscretion, no concern about police, were handing out drugs like candy at a 7-Eleven, handing out death.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Do you have a house that you've been thinking about selling, but maybe it needs a lot of work and you want to sell it in as-is condition? 314-417-1000. My name's Chad with Clayman Real Estate, where we've had a family business for over 90 years, and we buy houses direct from the seller with no middleman involved. 314-417-1000. We recently just bought a house from a nice person who had been in her house for over 30 years, Quite frankly, she wasn't excited about letting a bunch of people in the house, and she wasn't as proud of the house as she once was, and she was ready to sell. We came in and we made her an as-is offer with no repairs and no agency involved. It was just a one-time walkthrough. If you're in that situation and you have a house that you're thinking about selling in as-is condition and want a simple solution, reach out. 314-417-1000. 314-417-1000. Reach out to Clayman Real Estate today, and we will provide you with an as-is, simple solution to your real estate issue.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-240-4586. 800-240-4586. That's 800-240-4586.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I don't know where I would get the truth if it weren't for you.
Live and local.
Welcome to the People's Republic of America stand.
Here comes another roller coaster, another circus.
This is News Talk STL.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
Did you pick this one out for this?
Yes, just for Danny.
There it is. One of the great things about News Talk, I mean, we say, because we mean it, number one for live and local conservative talk. Literally, we have local conservative talk from 5:30 in the morning until 10 at night, other than, Dan Bongino. And hey, Dan, man, he's part of the family anyway. And then when you look at 7 days a week on the weekends, great, so many local programs, so many stations just go sell shows to the insurance agent or whatever the case is. And you're going to hear awesome shows all weekend long. And I guess, do I do the kitschy sort of, I heard it through the grapevine. There's a new show that's coming on the radio show. Shh, don't tell anybody. You know him, you love him, Danny Define here with us right now.
Yeah.
And
hey. Good morning, News Talk.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I hear we could talk about a new show coming to News Talk this week.
We can, yes. The Next Gen with myself, Danny Define. It's going to be on at 10 p.m. on Sundays here at News Talk. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to cover politics, current events, have some very interesting guests on from the area that are doing cool things, that are making the community a better place to live, a better place to exist in. So I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have a little humor. We're going to have, you might laugh, you might cry. It's going to hopefully make you think. So we're going to be, rolling that out this Sunday at 10 p.m.
Okay, so St. Louis focused.
Yeah, so we're gonna do. I like national too. So
sure.
We're definitely gonna touch on national. I mean, how can you not with an election year? Right. Let's just call the elephant in the room here. So we'll do a lot of national, some international news, things like that. Plenty. What I always say in radio, and unfortunately, there's plenty of material, right? So there's never a shortage of things to talk about. But we'll be doing some local stuff as well. I'm born and raised in St. Louis. Went to Mizzou, lived down in the Central West End for a few years, got out of there once COVID started, moved out to Cottleville. So born and raised here, have a lot of roots here, have a lot of great connections and interesting people. I've done stand-up comedy, I've done radio, I've done, TV commercials, local politicians. I have some good connections there. So we'll bring in a good cast of characters for sure.
Danny, what brought you to radio to begin with?
Oh, well, I've always had a passion for just entertainment and anything really under the media umbrella. It's whether it was acting or stand-up or doing podcasting. A lot of people say just because I won't shut up. I mean,
you got something to say.
Right. I have something to say. I don't know who's going to listen, but I have a lot to get off my chest. This is like therapy for me.
All right.
But I went to Mizzou, for mass media, journalism, and wasn't really political either growing up. We grew up in St. Charles County. I grew up in St. Charles County, so traditionally a pretty red, part of the state.
Oh, yeah.
But politics was never like our discussion at the dinner table. We really never got into it. And then I went to Mizzou and I started going to class and expecting college to be this free thinking, every thought's welcome. We like to have an honest debate here and discussion on various topics. And once I got up there and I saw a lot of these professors that were more interested with being social justice warriors and radical, just kind of just unhinged type people rather than professors, I was like, okay, whatever that is, I'm going to go the opposite way. And that's how I started getting involved with conservative talk. I just knew that, man, this is this group of people is kind of they're indoctrinating and really pushing their agenda on this next wave of young adults growing up that are going to be running the show, running the country, for years and years to come. So we need to do what we can. And when I say we, I mean myself and people that are my age that are, because the younger generation, there's so much misinformation out there. They go to these indoctrination centers, which are college universities. So there's just a lot of, uninformed people out there that I think need to see the different side of things and at least have, I'm not saying you have to agree with us or agree with my stance on everything. I don't think you should. I mean, everybody should have their own ideas, own opinion, but just doing my part to kind of point different things out to say, hey, maybe have you ever thought about this? Have you, because there's just such an attack right now with the media and the misinformation and again, college professors, you can go on and on and on, but that's kind of the long-winded answer, how I got involved and how I got passionate about this.
Now, you mentioned some of your conservatism kind of being influenced by or as a reaction to your professors in school. And since I got gray in my beard, I can talk about being back in my day. College was when I had a sort of similar experience. Now, mine was kind of crystallized on 9/11 and the post 9/11 world. And I saw all the lefties saying, well, hold on. Why did they hit us? Maybe we deserved it, essentially, is kind of what they were saying. And I was like, yeah, whatever you are for, I am on the opposite side of that thing. So was there an event or a particular thing, a particular topic that kind of crystallized it for you, or was it just kind of an accumulation of things?
One thing that happened my senior year there at Mizzou was the whole football team hunger strike situation. Remember that?
Oh, I remember that.
I remember that. Where the one kid was like 37 years old. He was like on his 11th senior year in college.
He was a trust fund baby with his dad literally being like a railroad executive.
Yeah, his dad was like, he was like one of the Vanderbilts or Rockefellers or something. The guy was worth tens of millions of dollars. And, come to find out, he was sneaking in Chalupa Taco Bell at 4 o'clock in the morning. Right. There was no hunger strike. But, but yeah, that just when I saw the chaos there and the craziness and the way, because that made national headlines. And I saw how CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News were reporting on this, where I'm like, that's not what's going on at all. I'm boots on the ground here. I'm actually on campus seeing what's going on. I have a good read on kind of the vibe and the energy going around at that time. And I saw how these large media corporations that are not in St. Louis, they're on the coast, they're in LA, they're in New York, and just the way they kind of twisted things to cause this division and cause this, they always like to stoke the flame of division. And that's where I think, I've been talking about all the negatives here and what I don't like, but I also, and I'm an optimist too, because I feel like our best days are ahead of us as a country and really on a global scale, because when America fails, the world fails. When America succeeds, the world succeeds. So I feel like there's a massive opportunity for us to really create a better country and a more unified country. And what you see with the media and a lot of these politicians, it's division. They want to talk about identity politics, black versus white, women versus man, left versus right even. It's so much bigger than that. If you're hyper focused on those identity politics, they have you hook, line, and sinker. If we could all come together as one group of people, American citizens, and say, hey, I think we're all getting screwed over here. Let's stop bickering with these small little identity issues, and let's start looking at, okay, the people that really own this place, the people that really run this country, which is a very small group of people that are behind the scenes pulling all the strings here. If we can identify that and we can realize that, hey, it's not black, white, left versus right, women versus man. It's kind of the tyrants and the people that want to destroy this country from within versus the American people.
Okay, got a couple minutes left in this segment. Danny Define, his new show coming up this weekend. Tell me about the name of it. We're talking about Next Generation, Next Gen.
Yeah.
That's something I think conservatives have been getting wrong for so long, in that not reaching out to next generation, not reaching out to younger, we talk about younger voters, but just how about the younger people?
Right. Well, that's why I feel like it's my duty to speak out, and I wanted to move forward with the show. And Jeff Allen and Joe, everybody here has been extremely helpful in that process, and I can't thank them enough. I'm super excited to start this Sunday, but yeah, it's kind of a messaging issue with Republicans. I think a lot of people, they still think of Republican Party as like Mitch McConnell and Britt Hume and Karl Rove, just kind of these old, just like dull as dirt guys with no personality. It's just a total. I mean, every time Brett Hume gets on air, I just almost fall asleep. So we need to really have some more energy. We need to have a little bit more charisma. We need to be a little bit sleeker, a little bit sexier, maybe, if you will. Just really getting younger people involved, because I think the left, what they do an amazing job at packaging the Democrat Party as like this cool, hip, young place to be. Hey, we have your best interests in mind, and it's all a con job, really. I mean, you're telling these people, these young people, oh, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you free money, the world's going to be just rainbow and butterflies, and then they get the rug pulled out from underneath them. And then you have young people saying, well, they promised me this, that, and the other. Why is this not happening? Why is my bank account not as big as it was before? Why is our cities, running rampant with crime and all this, and our neighborhoods are just crumbling? So it's the Republicans, and I definitely disagree on some things on the right, for sure. I'm not, on board 100% hook, line, and sinker with everything they say, but when you break it down and you look at, Democrat versus Republican and who is going to provide a better lifestyle for you, it is the Republican Party, but we need a better job at messaging that, particularly to young people, and that's what I hope to accomplish on the show.
And obviously, I cannot help with making it sexier just because you're looking at the video stream. You understand why. All right, Danny, once again, let's go over, because you got a few more minutes. You can hang around with us for a few more minutes, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and the show starts this Sunday. Let's give that information out again.
Yeah, so this Sunday at 10 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. It's called The Next Gen with Danny Define. You can also follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Daniel J. Define. And also I'm on Instagram as well, Danny D. Fine.
All right. And people have been wondering, where'd Danny go all these months? So now you're back.
I'm back, baby.
There he is.
Here we go.
All right.
Let's get started.
314-912-1019. Quick follow-up question when we get back after this information segment. And then here's a question for you guys. I saw this thing on Reddit because, Reddit is the eternal source of conversation starters, as we know. What would you pay more money for to get the good stuff? There were some interesting answers. Basically, what costs more but's actually worth it?
See, when you toss in to get the good stuff, then my mind kind of goes,
wait a minute,
all over the place.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Back to college days.
314-912-1019.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
And I'd like to talk to you guys about Michael's Flooring Outlet. You could gain peace of mind with Michael's Flooring Outlet for your flooring and carpet installation needs. Their team of experts ensures that the job is done right the first time, providing you with attentive and a personalized service. Just like my parents, you can trust them to replace your old carpet with beautiful hardwood flooring. Visit one of their 3 locations in Dardenne Prairie, St. Peters, or Creve Coeur, or check them out at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? A man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $110 per month. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, there are great rates available for you as well. Call Term Busters for a quote. 1-800-908-7636. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-908-7636. Remember, call Term Busters. 1-800-908-7636. Sample rate for preferred non-tobacco rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, DebtBlue is here for you. With DebtBlue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it, and the team at DebtBlue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL, Haunted Garage, and we'll be discussing everything paranormal, From ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to Skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right, it's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Hey, Stel.
Hey there, Mike.
This is an 80s song.
Yeah.
Okay. So if people want to hear your favorite song for Bump Music on Flashback Friday,
let us know.
Let us know. You can let us know on social media now because our internet's back up. Or you can email Stel or me, STEL at newstalkstl.com or Mike at newstalkstl.com. We got Danny Define here in the studio. Just announced a new show starting Sunday right here on News Talk STL. Another local conservative show because that's what we do. That's how we roll. Got any favorite 80s songs we should consider for Bump Music for Flashback Friday?
Oh, man. I am, I worked for KC95 here for years and was on the sales and marketing side. But I've always been a huge 70s, 80s, 90s. I'm a classic rock guy.
Yeah.
So now I will say on the 80s, though, I'm not like a big hair band guy. I never was like a
Get out.
AC/DC.
Get out.
I know that's going to ruffle some feathers here. That's like the one genre I wasn't. Listen, I like, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC. I'm not saying it's better than any music that is being rleased today. But really, I'm more of like a late 60s, 70s guy.
Okay.
Again, Led Zeppelin, Tom Petty, Rolling Stones, Fleetwood Mac. I'm all over the place, but then I'll also listen to like Sinatra, listen to some Sebastian Bach. I am really all over. Notorious B.I.G., Tupac. My shuffle, it's probably like the looking inside the head of a far left radical liberal. It's scrambled
from the 90s.
It's weird. It's scrambled. It's all over the place.
I wasn't going to say eclectic, but you said scrambled.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's right. It's non-binary.
Nice. All right, so on Reddit, people were asked basically, what are you willing to pay more money for? You know, what's worth it to pay more for?
Right.
Out there. And the answers to this were all over the place. So part of this was, okay, what can you get cheaper? You know, basically, what could you get at the dollar store, the ones that are still open, versus the name brand? What other things outside of that? You know, what comes to mind? What are you willing to pay more for? To say the quality matters, I'm going to pay more for it, even if I can get it cheaper.
Now, obviously, because it's me, it's food is the first thing that I think of. And, besides steak, because once I had a Ruth's Chris steak, Longhorn wasn't doing it for me for a while. I had to relax it. I had to take a break from steak so I wouldn't ruin it. But besides that, just, you peanut butter and cheese.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's like I've tried the Aldi brand cheese, and I'm like, nah, I gotta go to a grocery store and get one of these name brand Kraft or
Jiffy or whatever.
Yeah.
So no Always Save brand in your,
exactly. And then peanut butter. I'm a Jif guy. I gotta have my Jif peanut butter. Everything else tastes like somebody mashed up peanuts. Like they chewed it. And they put it in the jar and gave it to me. I was like, no, Jif peanut butter all the way.
You know what's one of the most depressing things ever is when you go to the grocery store and you pick up the crunchy peanut butter and you get home thinking it was the creamy one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
I got to eat crushed nuts now for the next month.
You're right. Because you spent money on it, so you're not going to go get another one until this one is gone.
You just have to choke it down until it's over.
Exactly.
You're right. Especially in this economy.
You can't say because you spent $6 on it and you'd rather choke it down than saying, well, there goes my $6.
Exactly.
I'll get what I actually want.
And you take a look at the label. Geez, I thought I read the label.
I thought I read it right.
It's the most subtle thing, too, and I wish they wouldn't do that. If you do Jif, because I'm a huge Jif guy.
Oh, are you Jif? Okay, yeah.
That's the right answer.
Oh, sure, you bond with him over peanut butter, but you insult my hair bands.
I do. What did I insult?
My hair band.
Hair metal.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm a hair metal guy.
Hey, well, what can I say? When it comes to peanut butter, that's something I'm very passionate about. No, the Jif The smooth one is the best.
Yes,
There's
it is.
no question about it. But
Hands down.
The chunky or whatever, crunchy, they put like a blue label on there. It's the most subtle little label, and I've done that mistake so many times, and it really is, man.
It pissed you off, doesn't
First
it?
world problems over
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
But it's still really ruined my day.
What would you pay more for, Stel, to say, let's get the good stuff?
Probably two different areas. Staying on the food thing just for a second, for me, it would be pizza. It's got to be thick crust or Chicago style. I can't handle anything else. So I'll pay more for a thick crust at a pizza place. The other thing is a television. I'd like to have a nice TV.
You like the name brand TVs?
Yeah, one that can actually pick up the signals. Okay, I don't want to be back in the dorm room where I had difficulty getting local signals. Just a good TV.
Yeah, number one on this list was shoes.
Shoes,
which is true.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like, really, really, really poor, and I'm like, need new shoes. I better head over to Payless. And so I would get the cheapest thing or the Walmart or whatever. Oh, no. Save up your pennies, work a second job, work the street corner, whatever you got to do.
The corner.
And then get yourself the good shoes on this, especially as you get older. On this, another one.
I'm kind of concerned. You have really nice shoes. What have you been doing to get the nice shoes?
Just saying.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying,
I
got a libertarian streak in me, and I'm just saying. 2024, man, don't judge.
I'm not judging. Just a little.
It's legal here in Missouri now.
That's right.
Leave it alone.
There's another one here I actually thought was pretty good. They said quality pots and pans don't get the cheap stuff out of like the cheap store.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And I'm not a foodie, but I've got friends and relatives would buy the cheap stuff and then be really mad when everything sticks to it and scratches up. So that's another one.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
you're right.
Absolutely.
Again, yes.
Yeah, as a kid who grew up in the restaurant business, I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Here was another funny one on Reddit. They said what cost more money because it's worth more, and number 10 on the list was divorce.
Oh, no. That's a sign of the times right there.
You know what is so I just was at the airport. I was traveling last weekend, and right when you get down the escalator here at Lambert, and I forget the name of the attorney, but it's a giant billboard. He says, "Welcome home." Or he's like, "Are you happy to be home? If not, call me."
Oh, no.
I'm like, man, that is the most creative marketing ever. I wish I could have thought of that.
That was
campaign.
brilliant.
Right, like right when you get down the escalator to go to the bag, checkout or whatever, bag pickup, and it's just a giant divorce attorney. Are you happy to be home? If not, give me a call. I'm like, man, that's good.
I'm calling that guy.
Yeah, I'm not even married, but I'm going to call him.
If you're in that, he's like, I just got to call him to congratulate him on his ad.
Yes.
I just want to shake that guy's hand.
It's cold, but it's really effective.
It's absolutely.
All right. Anything lined up for this Sunday show, Ray? I know you haven't produced it yet, haven't written it because obviously it's on Sunday, but what's in mind for this week? And we got about 20 left.
Yeah, so there's a lot to cover here. We're already in April, so 4 months into the year. I want to really give my opinion or my thoughts on where this is going to head leading up to the election, and then as well as just offering, because it's not going to end peacefully. I hate to say that, but whether it's Trump elected or Biden elected, there's going to be a lot of chaos this year, and I think people need to be ready for that. So a lot of it's just about personal excellence too, making sure you're prepared, making sure physically, financially, mentally, emotionally that you are ready for what's about to come, and there's a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk about a lot of topics, and it'll be a fun show.
All right, Sunday at 10 o'clock. Thanks,
10
Danny.
o'clock. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Cleanup and damage assessment underway this morning in communities blasted by powerful storms across several states, including parts of Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky. Ronnie Howard lives in Dunbar, West Virginia, and tells WCHS-TV that his parked car took a hit while he was at work.
I could hear debris hitting the side of the building, and I'm thinking, oh, that must be bad out there. A few minutes later, employees run in and say, Ron, it's your car. I think they're playing a joke on me. And I come outside, and that's what I see, my car.
Beneath a billboard brought down by powerful winds, tens of thousands of utility customers are without power in West Virginia, as several tornadoes touched down south of Louisville, Kentucky. At least 9 people dead, more than 900 injured, the result of the powerful earthquake that hit Taiwan during the height of the morning rush. The tremor sent people scrambling out of the windows of damaged buildings, and it halted train service across the island. A tsunami warning was triggered, but it was later lifted. And authorities on Taiwan now say that 70 coal miners are trapped in 2 separate mines following that earthquake. Some of Israel's closest allies expressed shock over the deaths of 7 Gaza aid workers killed by an airstrike Israel says was a result of misidentification in the war zone.
The dead from Monday night strikes included 3 British citizens, Polish and Australian nationals, a Canadian-American dual national, and a Palestinian. The deaths of the World Central Kitchen workers threatened to set back efforts by the US and other countries to open a maritime corridor for aid from Cyprus to help ease the desperate conditions in northern Gaza. I'm Charles Villadesma.
On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures are down 56 points. NASDAQ futures off 71. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
This is Dennis Prager, and now a truly exciting new benefit. My monthly online video get-together for Pragertopia Plus members only. For an hour each month, get an exclusive chance to ask me anything. I'll be answering your questions. I've never done this. Submit your questions for me at Pragertopia.com. This is our chance to connect like never before. Go to Pragertopia.com or click the banner at Dennis Prager.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Cold, windy, and at times wet for your Wednesday, with some scattered showers, too. On and off rain in the forecast this morning and this afternoon. Maybe even a wet snowflake or 2 mixing in. More of that north of St. Louis. Highs in the upper 40s. A cold flow out of the northwest. Sustained winds 15 to 25, gusting at times as high as 40. We're dry tonight, mostly cloudy, down to 37. A stray sprinkle possible Thursday, but it's mainly dry for the Cardinals' home opener. Still chilly, though. Tomorrow's high at 49. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Senior Memorial. Give Benjamin Schaefer a call at 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
Mike Ferguson.
We the people.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
It's not rocket science. Rocket science.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up. Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
With the school board elections just concluding yesterday, obviously education is on people's minds because conservatives around here are kind of going, whoa, what just happened? Our candidates didn't win. So there's a lot at stake locally in your elections, but is there also a lot at stake nationally as far as who is trying to influence our election, even at the higher education level as well? The short answer is absolutely, positively yes. This is going to sound like a weird statement, but is China and the CCP taking an interest in education here in the United States? I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here. We got Stel Ponticus here. It is 8:05 right now. Interesting article, and you can find it right now in the Washington Examiner. And it is entitled, let me bring up the thing here. It is entitled, for some reason, there it is. Okay, it is entitled, "The CCP's Influence is Seeping into U.S. Schools," and it was written by Alex Nestor from, she does a lot of work, of course, with Parents Defending Education, and Alex joins us right now. And Alex, appreciate you being on the program here. Somebody may say, what are you talking about, Alex? I mean, that sounds like a big conspiracy theory. China, the CCP, they're worried about building a military. They don't care what's happening in our classrooms. And you're arguing, oh, yeah, they actually do. What are the basics that we need to know to start with?
I wish this was just, a tale, something that's actually not happening, but it is very real. And we've got the receipts to show it. Just last summer, we had a report out that found that 143 school districts across the country had fostered ties with the Chinese Ministry of Education or Chinese Communist Party affiliated entities over the course of about a decade. Now, after the November APEC meeting, Xi Jinping is inviting American students, 50,000 American students, to China. And, let's be clear here. This is intentional. The Chinese Communist Party has long said that working in U.S. schools, K-12 schools, is a top priority. They've done so through Confucius Institutes at the higher education level, now Confucius classrooms at the K-12 level. She wants to, manipulate, mold a generation of American future leaders who are more amenable to CCP political aims, and that is exactly what he's doing here.
Good morning, Alex. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So do the teachers' unions or the classrooms, the administrators, do they know what they're getting into when they invite the Confucius Institutes into their school districts?
So yes and no. And I think this quote from Sarah Landy, who actually helped organize a trip to China that just happened this spring in Muscatine, Iowa. Sarah Landy claims to be, quote unquote, an old friend of Xi Jinping. And she says that these, people to people exchanges, if you will, help American families turn off the bad narratives they hear on the news about China. Bad narratives like, committing a genocide, enslaving Congolese children in cobalt mines. Let's not forget Tiananmen Square, the Great Leap Forward, other past atrocities in China. So it helps turn those off and only show Americans the good narratives about China. So coming back to administrators, I think they are billed that this is something that's great for kids. It's a great opportunity. They get to travel to another country. Potentially they get a Chinese teacher in their school to provide opportunities to kids. That's all fantastic, well and good. But again, we need to look at the bigger picture here, and the adults in the room, school administrators, local leaders, state leaders and federal leaders need to actually look at what's going on and realize that this is part of a much wider strategy to unseat the United States as the world's first and foremost economic and military power.
Alex, there's been some, people raising red flags, no pun intended, on Confucius Institutes in the universities, Josh Hawley and some others going back really 2 or 3 years on this. And some states and some universities have kicked them off of their campuses. But when you look at now, you're saying K through 12 K through 12 presence in the schools. What is it that the school districts should be doing to filter out? I mean, it's one thing to have, cultural exchanges or learn about comparative cultures or things like that. But what is it from a policy perspective or from a parental perspective do people need to be looking for? And specifically, what should they be looking to filter out while at the same time saying, but we want a rich education in the meantime?
We absolutely do. I think what would be fantastic is if we had Chinese Americans who fled communism, who fled Mao's communist China, in classrooms teaching kids Chinese language, because our kids do need to learn Chinese language. If we are going to confront the Chinese Communist Party, they need to know the Chinese language. I think we should have Chinese Americans teaching our kids Chinese language and teaching them about China's history and about also the beautiful parts about Chinese history and Chinese culture, but also the bad parts. And we know when we're allowing the Chinese Communist Party to dictate what our children are learning about China, we know they're not hearing the bad parts, especially the bad parts that are happening now. So that's one for sure. I would say another thing, you mentioned Confucius Institutes shutting down following a 2020 State Department report that rightly called them an influence arm of the Chinese Communist Party. What we've seen in our research is in some cases in Kentucky, in Washington State, there are some that still exist. There are some that were essentially given to school districts to continue operating. It's a game of whack-a-mole. And what's really frustrating and frightening about some of these connections is, perfect example, in Washington, the Confucius Institute there was created in conjunction with a Chinese university connected to their nuclear arms program. That should not be allowed to happen. We should not have American institutions partnering with institutions in China connected to their military. So this is clearly a problem at the local level where districts can bring in Chinese Americans to, teach good and bad parts about Chinese history, and then also at a national security level, which, typically more of a federal issue there.
Good morning, Alex. Stalpantikas here. Got a question from a listener for you from Allison on Facebook. She mentions that Confucius Institute classrooms are here locally at St. Louis University High School and Webster University, obviously funded by the CCP. So is there influence from the Confucius Institute going all the way down to medium and small school districts? I realize we're a bigger school district here, but how about medium and small districts around the nation?
Oh, definitely. They're all over. And if you look on our website, Little Red Classrooms is the report. You can find it at defendinged.org. We've got a list of 143 school districts. I'm sure that's not all of them. But you can see, like I mentioned, Kentucky. There's one school district in Kentucky that essentially took over Western Kentucky University's Confucius Institute. And, that district is in a small coal mining community in Kentucky. So, red states, blue states, coastal or, Midwest, what have you, they're everywhere.
Alex, tell us a little bit about how the CCP is using TikTok to promote their agenda, and what do you make of the laws that are now being discussed to ban it?
How are we going to learn the latest dance craze if it weren't for this?
Well, we have YouTube. We have other platforms where data is, stored in the United States. And look, what I like to say, especially to people who have fair concerns about free speech, our freedom does not protect itself. Our freedom will not protect itself from the Chinese Communist Party. And because our data, American data, data from 170 million American users is stored in China, at ByteDance. That is a Chinese company, and therefore it is subject to Chinese law that requires companies to assist the Chinese government in data collection efforts. That means at any time, the Chinese government could have ByteDance turn over that data on American users. That is a problem. That is a huge security risk. And it is one that I think, parents need to take very seriously. When their kids on TikTok, it doesn't seem like a really big deal. What are they going to do? Well, that's, the Chinese government could have that data at any time, and that's very frightening.
All right, we're visiting with Alex Nestor from Parents Defending Education, and Alex just got a couple minutes left here. So you just mentioned the parents. Okay, where do the parents go from here? How do they? It's not like the schools are going to send out notices. Hey, we have a CCP-funded Confucius Institute or something like that in most cases. How do parents find out for themselves if there is influence from one of these entities directly or indirectly connected to the CCP in their school district? Because I suspect there's going to be a lot of parents who are going to be nervous to ask these questions for fear of being called, xenophobic or a conspiracy theorist or what have you. What is it they should do to make sure that they are, at the very least, being able to deal with it at home in case they have to compete with some of the values and ideals being taught in the schools?
So definitely, one, we're always happy to be the bad guys. We've got a line on our website, drop us a note. At the bottom of our website, and we're always happy to investigate for you for parents who fear retaliation from, against their kids too for asking questions. I also think too, look, a lot of administrators again are sold Confucius classrooms or these trips as being good opportunities for kids. So I do think this is a time where parents can open a dialogue with their school officials and at least try and say, hey, have you heard about Uyghur genocide? Have you heard about these, children being enslaved in cobalt mines? Like, should our school really be working with this foreign nation that's committing these atrocities? I think it is perfectly fine. And that is the first thing we always suggest for parents. Go to the source, go to your child's teacher, go to your school district, because look, there are studies that show that most people are actually really happy with their individual school, even though overall people are dissatisfied with the education system. So always go to them first, but then know that Defending Ed, we're always happy to be the bad guy and file the public records request if needed.
Okay, and how do they get in touch with you? Website, social media, anything like that?
Yeah, defendinged.org, and then on Twitter @DefendingEd.
All right, Alex Nestor, to Parents Defending Education. Thanks so much for the update. I imagine there's probably somebody listening who just said, I had no idea.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's definitely an issue that's going to be ongoing, and we've only just scratched the surface on it.
All right, thanks again, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, 314-912-1019. All right, 8:20 here. Let's dump some news on you. Give you the updates, not just the local elections, but some updates from Baltimore and everywhere else right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Don't try to make me stop. No inspiration. You have a soul so dark it is no more.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Stop right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that? Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up.
The Cardinals open the 2024 season at home on Thursday, April 4th. Don't miss the tradition and excitement of opening day at Busch Stadium. That day, all fans 21 and older will take home the 2024 Magnet schedule thanks to Budweiser. Never miss a game with this convenient information hub. That's Thursday, April 4th, the Cardinals home opener and the 2024 Magnet schedule presented by Budweiser. Tickets still remain. Get yours at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Lance Lynn, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou. On Sunday, April 7th, the Cardinals host the Marlins. And that day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will take home their own long-sleeve hooded pullover. Everyone will want this light blue, lightweight, and stylish pullover that features a popular throwback logo. Following the game, kids 15 and younger can participate in the High Chew Kids Run the Bases. That's Sunday, April 7th. Great seats remain. Get yours at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Nolan Gorman, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
It's Black History Month. I'm sorry, I haven't mentioned that during the whole time we promoted Melanie Collette being on with us. Melanie Collette from Project 21 joins us now. Melanie, thanks for coming back to talk to us again.
Thank you for having me. I can't believe you had to remind yourself that it's Black History Month. Is that the only reason why you're having me on?
That's right, only because you're black. Not because we think you're smart. Only because
Knew it.
Vic Porcelli, live and local weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here for Cadre Asset Management. A cadre is defined as a small group of people specially trained for a particular purpose or profession, and that is the role that Cadre Asset Management can play in your financial journey. Learn more about how they can help secure your financial future by following Cadre Asset Management on Facebook, or just go to cadreassetmgmt.com.
Cadre Asset Management is a Missouri-based independent advisory firm licensed under and securities and investment advisory services offered through Founders Financial Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Police officers, they're 4 times more likely to suffer a fatal injury than any other job in America. What you may not know is that every day our police officers are left destitute after a critical injury, abandoned by the very system they serve.
I had the gunshot wound to the forehead. With the cut and pay, we had to sell our house.
I couldn't do anything that I used to be able to do. I wasn't the provider anymore.
So I took the first shot to my face, and then I took a second shot to the left side of my left breast.
Imagine being crippled in the line of duty, losing your ability to do your job or take care of your family, only to be denied medical benefits and have your pay cut when you need it most. This is why the Wounded Blue exists, to right this terrible wrong done to veteran police officers. To learn more about how you can make a difference in the lives of officers who've been critically injured in the line of duty, go to thewoundedblue.org today.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Yes, I just want you to know what a breath of fresh air you people are.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning with Gabe and Stell and, Mike. Always informative and entertaining. And don't forget my show, Larry Connors USA, 6 to 8 p.m.
The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The Morning News Dump.
Just want to point out, I saw that Hart's coming to the, I think it's the Enterprise Center a little bit later on this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the sisters made up. They get along with each other again. All right, it is 8:22. Teachers' unions and the public education establishment had a big day. Parents and conservatives, not so much in the elections.
Yeah.
Also, an area Republican congressman wants his replacement to be a moderate. And the Cardinals, turns out, starting off pretty strong this season, which we did not think was going to happen, especially after those first couple of days, couple games. All right, 8:22 right now. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here, got Stel Ponticus here, and got Danny Define here as well, sticking around. You thought
back.
you were going to leave.
I'm like a fungus. You can't get rid of me.
All right, so here's what we do, Danny, is I just kind of go down a bunch of the news of the day, and then we all have thoughts on it. So here we go. From Melville to Francis Howell, school board races here in the metro area did not go the way the conservatives and parents' rights advocacy groups had really hoped. Basically, all the conservative school board candidates lost in the metro on Tuesday, and I didn't see any cases where it was really all that close. So when you look at, because last year, 2 years ago, we had conservatives win big, Rockwood School District and Francis Howell School District and Fort Zumwalt School District, but this year, we had it shift the other way.
Yeah, with Francis Howell being, they already had 5 of the 7.
Yep.
And we were looking to kind of, pull it out and just get a full 7 roster there and have a complete takeover, which would have been an epic win that we would have wanted to replicate around the country. But we fell short, and we're still trying to understand it. We're one day out post-mortem, but, you can't help but think, what the heck?
Yeah.
There is a comment from Charles on Facebook that turnout in Jefferson County was 9.7%.
Yeah, and I think it was 16% in St. Louis County. Wow. So like we said yesterday, your vote counts more in these local elections than even in the national elections.
That's the thing. The turnout is so low for these local elections. And then people, once it gets bad, people look around like, what happened? How did this how did we get here? It's like, well, when the voter turnout is anywhere from 9% to 15%, it's not, elections have consequences, right? So if you want to preserve the way things are, go out and vote. If you want to change the way things are, go out and vote. But you have to participate on some level here. And everybody gets wrapped up into the general elections, which of course, it's extremely important, but the local community and those elections have really the most direct impact on your life and your kid's life.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. Oh, here's a topic that we hadn't touched on in a while before today when it comes to an actual health issue.
Monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox, monkeypox, oh monkey, 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 monkeypox.
And somebody maybe accused me like, Mike, are you just looking for a monkeypox story so you can play that intro?
Pretty much.
Yes.
Kind of. Yeah,
Yes.
kind of. All right. Health officials say
One of my
there's
favorite intros, by the way. It's still one of my favorites.
Health officials say there's been a sharp rise in cases of monkeypox so far this year in 2024.
The CDC says the number of Mpox cases for 2024 already exceeds the number for all of last year. Health officials say there have been 582 cases of Mpox this year, compared to just 299 for all of 2023. More than 32,000 cases had been detected in 2022, spread primarily via sexual activity among homosexual men. Bob Agnew reporting.
Okay, first of all, older reporters, when they have to report on anything that has to do with LGBT stuff, it's funny when you hear an older guy go, homosexual.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
but that
Why'd you
aside.
say it that way? Now you just made it weird. For everybody.
Well, Bob Agnew made it weird.
It was
him.
already weird.
But here's the other part of this is they're like, how could you possibly be laughing? Listen, this is a completely self-inflicted wound on one kid. Listen, you got the right to live any way you want as an adult. I'm not bashing.
yeah.
I'm just saying, guys, don't jump on the pile for a couple months and this whole thing goes away.
Man, my favorite part about the whole monkeypox thing was there was, for the longest time, when it was becoming a thing, they refused to say how it was transmitted.
Right,
They
yeah.
refused. They refused to say who was primarily impacted. They were trying to make it out like it was the new plague that was coming through, but everybody has to be worried about monkeypox. I'm like, wait a second. If I'm not going to certain parties and doing certain things with certain dudes, I'm going to be fine.
If you're just going to keep driving through the east side and not stopping, you're probably going to be okay.
Right. So he basically was, or you were saying, Gabe, the media would basically explain it without saying gay men are the most likely.
They did not.
Yeah.
That last line from him.
People that usually
was
have
shocked.
glitter, people that are highly enthusiastic, people that are clean cut and dress well,
Tend
that
to prance.
sometimes are a little over the top when they tell a story, wear fishnet tank tops. I don't know. It's like, dude, just come out and say it.
Say it.
Let's be honest here. We're all adults,
Say
right?
it.
Like, you've made it weird by not addressing.
Exactly.
Just tell the truth.
It's
That's the
weirder
reality
than
of it.
just saying homosexual.
I don't, yeah, and I'm saying is I don't
So
think
funny.
every couple in Tower Grove is causing the problem.
Well,
here.
no.
Those guys aren't the problem.
Yeah,
here,
it's the party boys.
It's the party. Everything.
It's so funny. I have some of my best friends in the gay community, and it's just funny when they can put people in an awkward position like that, and just to see how people like get twisted up like a pretzel because everybody's walking on eggshells all the time.
Oh yes. I do the same thing with the black stuff.
I would cash in on that all the time. I would just
Every
love to
time.
make people feel weird. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Here's an interesting thing in local politics. Saying, and I'm using his words here, the antics of what he calls far right wingers is bad for the Republican Party Outgoing Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer endorses former state Senator Kurt Schaefer to succeed him. Schaefer, of course, running for that 3rd District congressional seat, and he calls himself a moderate. He's, through his whole career, said, hey, I'm the moderate guy on here. Blaine Luetkemeyer says, hey, you conservative caucus types, you're bad for the party. I think Kurt Schaefer is the guy to take the mantle. A little unusual for somebody to make an endorsement in a Republican primary, but, that's what he's doing. But the bigger picture is he's saying, you got to stop being so right wing. We got to get these people out of Congress and have more moderate people in Congress. Now, he didn't say moderate, but that's who he's endorsing on there.
Yeah, the thing I hate most about that type of endorsement or the type of thing was like, hey, you can't be that right wing and all these other things, is that a lot of what's happening right now is a response to the lack of conservatism of the previous generations. Like, hey, you guys didn't conserve anything, so now we're going hard in the paint. We kind of have to because the country's going down the toilet. You had the chance when things weren't quite as bad, when you could work with people across the aisle to pull things back, but you just let it go further and further left. So now, you know what? I'm not taking your advice. I'm sorry, but you screwed up. You put us in this position.
All right, Tesla sales are down for the first time since 2020, falling 8.5% in the first quarter of this year. Industry experts say, boy, that's not a good sign for the broader electric vehicle market where, let's just say, demand is softening. Demand is lagging for EVs, even as the Biden administration really wants to use policy and incentives, and they really want to force and regulate people into electric vehicles. Our very, very competent Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, was on America Reports on Fox, and he gave his reaction to that news.
The reality is that the automotive sector is moving toward EVs, and the U.S. can either fall behind China or we can claim the lead. President Biden wants to make sure that those EVs are made in America, especially, again, as more Americans choose EVs every single year than the year before.
One little side note here, if folks are familiar with Fisher, which is one of the electric car companies, along with Rivian, that you see them on the road a little bit.
Fisker.
Fisker,
Yes.
Fisker?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
Fisker.
He's got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting me, because I was trying to remember what it was, too. I heard a couple days ago that they are on the verge of going out of business.
Oh, wow.
And they reduced their prices by something like $20,000 to $30,000 per vehicle. And they're doing that to try to stay in business.
But Pete Buttigieg just said people want it.
I know. So, and as a part of a Ford dealership family in Hannibal, I can tell you they're having problems up there too, and I'm sure Sunset and the other guys around here are having trouble trying to sell the cars.
Can I speak on this? Because
yes,
I am,
please.
And don't burn me at the stake here. So I am a Tesla owner.
Okay,
and
that's cool.
Once Elon started coming out and speaking up for freedom of speech and against cancel culture, I wanted to support the guy, and I think the car is it's just a fun car. However. When it gets a little bit cold or when it gets a little bit hot, you have to charge that every 10 miles.
Oh, geez.
And it's fun. You get up to, you get that acceleration. It goes 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Yay! Oh, the battery's dead. Yeah. Didn't even get 3 miles down the highway.
I actually saw my daughter used to drive a Prius, and she got rid of it.
Yeah, I would never drive a Prius. I mean, come on, Mike.
I didn't buy
it. Bad. I don't have purple hair or anything.
I didn't buy it. I'm just saying. But it was funny. I saw a Prius on 5th Street in St. Charles last week, and it had a bumper sticker. Of course, on a Prius, you never know what the bumper stickers are going to be.
Coexist.
Probably.
I'm a bumper sticker reader, and it said, literally on the Prius, it said, I bought a Prius. And on the bottom, it said, big mistake.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
That's amazing.
Well, I was going to say, it's as the demand is softening, I think because the people who have purchased these vehicles now have owned them for long enough to know that this technology is not ready for prime time.
Yeah, and I can tell you again, I've had mine since 2022, and it's not, it's inconvenient at times. It really is. The technology is not there yet. It's a fun car, but I don't understand why are we, throughout human history, we let people naturally just gravitate towards the next thing. Like the internet, for example. There was a lot of older people that say, I'm never going to use the internet. I don't know what this dial-up modem is, whatever. But guess what? People eventually just kind of adapt with the times, and if they don't, they don't. But if they do, it usually plays out that way. So the forcing of the EVs, it's like, listen, I bought my EV because I like Tesla. I wanted to support Elon. I think it's a fun car, but that was my choice.
Right. It's a free market.
It's a free market. Let it play out. That's capitalism. People will decide if they want to go to an EV, but just It's like this all-out attack on gas-powered vehicles.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Let people just adjust with the times. It'll play out.
Totally agree. I mean, that's the forcing of it is what I think is causing so many of the problems here. And then I'm not sure this internet thing is going to catch on.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Still
All
bad.
right. All right. Wilson Contreras hits another home run, 2-run home run, put the Cardinals ahead in the 6th inning. All the Redbirds needed to get the win over the Padres last night. That guarantees Cardinals get the first series win of the year.
Woo!
They're going to go for the sweep today. That's a 3-10 game in San Diego. All right, just ahead. Hillary Clinton said, what? Gabe, could she have been right?
Well, don't make me say it.
Going to make him say it at 8:36.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Cold, windy, and at times wet for your Wednesday, with some scattered showers, too. On and off rain in the forecast this morning and this afternoon. Maybe even a wet snowflake or two mixing in. More of that north of St. Louis. Highs in the upper 40s. A cold flow out of the northwest. Sustained winds 15 to 25, gusting at times as high as 40. We're dry tonight, mostly cloudy, down to 37. A stray sprinkle possible Thursday, but it's mainly dry for the Cardinals home opener. Still chilly, though. Tomorrow's high at 49. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Fox News commentary.
The governor of Wisconsin vetoed a bill that would have protected women's sports. Feminism is dead. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
No single issue more unnecessarily divisive than men competing in women's sports. The fact that this has become such a hot-button issue is absurd, and here's what's even more absurd. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers vetoed a bill that would have forbidden biological men from competing against women in women's sports. The Republican-controlled Wisconsin legislature did great work to get this bill to his desk, and with one fell swoop, he crushed it and sadly the sanctity of women's athletics in his state. He had promised to veto the bill, calling it anti-LGBTQ, and unfortunately, he succeeded. Republicans do not have the votes to override the veto. The worst part of the whole thing is how these Democrat lawmakers celebrate the mockery they are making of women's sports and feminism in general. Weird, I thought liberals were supposed to be the ones carrying the feminist banner. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Hey everybody, it's Rob Carter. Mike and Beverly Sloan are the visionary minds behind Living the Elite Life, a coaching program that extends their expertise to empower others in the realms of mindset, fitness, health, sobriety, and relationships. If you need just a little push to make your life a lot better, give them a call, 636-248-9799, or email beverlysloan1@gmail.com.
Tim Jones here. The anniversary of last year's April 15th hailstorm rapidly approaching. Let my friends at Eureka Contracting and Roofing inspect your roof for storm damage prior to the one-year insurance deadline. They'll evaluate your damage to determine if the loss is insurable. If it is, they'll walk you through the entire insurance claim process just like they did for us. Your only out-of-pocket cost will be your deductible. Plus, having your roof inspected before the spring storm season will give you peace of mind before the next big storm hits. Call Eureka Contracting and Roofing, 636-938-ROOF, 636-938-ROOF, eurekacontracting.com.
Does your life insurance plan include living benefits, hearing, diabetic supplies, teledoc service, discounts on urns, caskets, tombstones? Larry Connors here. I suggest you call Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Call 314-866-8886 or visit memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial Heritage Protection.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust. News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and newstalkstl.com.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Hey, just want to let y'all know that our stream is back up. So, because we had some internet issues earlier today, and so our video stream wasn't happening, but it is now. Everything is back to as normal as it's going to get on News Talk.
It was a Chinese attack.
I'm
sure of it.
Russia.
Oh, we survived. Or Russia.
Okay, so
or Iran, the trifecta.
I saw some news coverage in a lot of conservative media sites basically going, look at this, Hillary. Can you believe Hillary Clinton said this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to play the audio clip here in a second. And I went, ooh, this is going to be great. Any conservative station will do some Hillary bashing.
Oh, yeah.
She comes out from her cave and then, hibernation's over. And then,
You're supposed to bop her on the head and then she goes
That's
back.
right. Yeah. And then I heard what she said and I went, I've heard a bunch of conservatives and I've heard a bunch of MAGA people kind of saying the same thing on the right.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. She goes on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. And, of course, he brings up the election, and she pretends like, oh, I can't believe you're asking me about that, when reality is all those things are set up and scripted anyway.
That's why she's there.
But here's the question, and here's just part of her answer. She goes on towards this and just does a bunch of Trump bashing, which you expect. But here's just kind of the meat of the exchange.
I mean, it's Biden versus Trump. We know that.
It is. It is.
What do you say to voters who are upset that those are the two choices?
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices.
Yeah, love that.
Right? And
good.
It's kind of like one is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people. And one is old and has been charged with 91 felonies.
Yeah, okay.
I mean...
Okay, interesting.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice. Really.
Okay, so then she goes on and does a bunch of Trump stuff, but it comes down to the fact is that what Fallon's writers were actually referring to is there are a lot of surveys, a lot of polls that say the majority of the country is like, this is what we've got to choose. I mean, they're really. They don't like the fact that we've got a rematch. They don't like the fact that we've got these two very polarizing figures.
They didn't want either of them.
They didn't want this matchup. They were hoping for some others. But be that as it may, I mean, obviously the fact is it's by Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, and the fact that she says "get over yourself" sounds really bad from the conservative perspective. I can't believe Hillary said that, but the reality is that there's a lot of people on the Republican side who are saying the exact same thing. It's like, oh, you don't like Donald Trump? Well, get over it because Joe Biden's the opponent right here. So, Gabe, this is the fun part, Danny, right here. So, Gabe, is Hillary Clinton right?
I'm going to go to talk to HR about the business practices
hostile
here. There's a hostile work environment because you're going to make me say out loud that I agree with Hillary. That I agree with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Because she, I mean, subtract her comparison between Biden and Trump. That was, that's her partisan garbage. But the idea that, okay, these are the two choices you have. The future of the country is at stake. Whatever problem you have with the candidate who most, closely aligns with your beliefs, just put those aside, hold your nose, and vote the way you need to because the alternative is worse. That's the case she's making, and I think she's right on that.
Yeah, I agree. This is what it is. It's going to be Biden versus Trump. That's one of the things I agree on. I mean, it's a very generic statement that it is agreeable. After what she said, after that statement, I don't agree with. But when she says Biden's doing a good job, I think she means that. But he's doing a good job ruining the country with illegal immigration, inflation, causing wars all over the globe. But I don't understand how are you still an undecided? How are there still undecided voters out there?
That's a good question.
These guys, both of them, have been in the public eye since the 70s. They've both been president. We know exactly who they are, what their policies are. Are there that many undecided voters? It's not like these guys just came out of left field and I don't know. I got to learn about this Trump guy. This Joe Biden guy, I got to read up on him.
What are you deciding?
Right.
Well, maybe they're deciding, am I going to show up to vote?
Oh, yeah. That could be it.
That's the one thing I guess they're debating in their head is, do I even cast a vote this year?
I think it's interesting if you take Hillary, who's definitely got TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and
advanced stage.
Yeah, put her up with James Carville and David Axelrod. They both may have TDS, but they're not quite as obvious about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you hear Carville
stage 1 TDS.
Yeah. That may be, whereas Hillary's stage 10.
Yeah, she's terminal.
Yes. They come out and try to fixate on what the problems are on the Democratic side, and Hillary just kind of makes it all into a whole soup kind of thing, whereas Axelrod and Carville really come out pretty sharp with their comments about, hey, Democrats are screwing up here, here, and here. We need to fix these things. And I just find the juxtaposition of those three fun to look at.
I've seen Carville. He was on Bill Maher not that long ago.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And
with his LSU sweatshirt.
Yeah. I think all that swamp heat and humidity got to his brain. It's just a hillbilly. But he was on with Bill Maher, and they were kind of debating this because Bill's like, really? Like, James, you don't think that the left has gone too far and like all this woke stuff and all this cancel culture? He's like, that's young people, they've always kind of felt that way. Like, it's just, they'll grow out of it, is what he was saying. And it's like, that's the one thing I agree with Bill Maher on. Like, he's spot on with the woke cancel culture.
Oh,
and maybe
yeah.
that's because he's a comedic background, but Carville, at least the way that I'm remembering it, he was like all on board with this radical left-wing stuff and Trump derangement syndrome too, to a pretty extreme degree. So I think he's just past his prime. He's lost his fastball, and he's just out of touch with the way that Americans think, particularly young Americans.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of frustration with a lot of voters, and I think what happens is people who are partisan on the Democratic side, capital D, partisan on the Republican side, capital R. A lot of overlap right now with MAGA because the Republican Party is Donald Trump's party right now, for good, bad, or otherwise. It is. He's more populist than he is conservative, and I think there's a lot of people who are saying, your DeSantis supporters and others who are saying, I believe in these principles. I want the Republican Party to be conservative. I don't want to compromise on things, and they think they're being told to compromise on principles by voting for somebody who may not agree with them on there. And then what you've got, whether it's, on the left, Carville or Hillary Clinton, and on the right, some others are saying, oh, wait a minute, so you're going to vote for somebody who opposes them,
right?
As opposed to that. And I do think that we need to, when we talk to voters and the public, understand that that's a real and that's a logical struggle that a lot of people have. Especially if you're passionate about some things like, pro-life or Second Amendment, to say, but this guy is worse or not as bad as the other guy. That's not a strong selling point. And so Republicans would be very, very well advised to keep that in mind when they're marketing to those voters, because it's real easy to show up, leave that one blank, and then vote in all the other races.
Yeah, one thing I've seen a lot on the left is one of their tendencies is to say, if you don't support this thing, then you are this evil thing, right? And you can't do that. That's not a persuasive argument. That is a I'm going to establish my battle line argument, which sometimes you need to do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to call out the crazy lefty fascists for who they are, and just leave it there. It's like, I'm not going to convince that person. They're the purple dye has gotten to their brains. So you're not going to convince them. But there are people in the middle who are well-meaning, who see the people on the left and say, well, these are the ones who are expressing compassion. And what you have to be prepared to say is like, look, I'm expressing compassion in getting results for people because I want to put money back into people's pockets. I don't want there to be all this consternation and craziness at the border. I don't want there to be wars around the world. All of those things are compassionate in and of themselves. So you just have to express it well. You have to be persuasive in discussing this with people, as opposed to trying to badger someone onto your side.
Can you imagine if Biden was in office for, oh, God forbid, another 3 or 4 years, what the border situation's going to be like? Oh my gosh.
What border?
Well, that's why I think I know people, and maybe this is just because this is my universe, and maybe I'm not branching out enough, but I know people that voted for either Biden in 2020 or didn't vote at all that are voting for Trump in 2024. I really don't know anybody that said they voted for Trump in 2020 that are voting for Biden in 2024.
That's encouraging.
That would be interesting to see if anybody had any polling on that. Because my guess is that what you're what those people are telling you is pretty accurate across the board, would be my guess.
More likely to happen than the other way around, certainly.
I would think so. All right, 314-912-1019. Let me know what you think. This is 1019 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Tony Colombo here, along with Tim Jones for Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Rodney and Jen are the number one home selling team in the area, and I could say that from personal experience. They sold our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible, which put us in a great position as we tried to find our perfect new home. And with help from the Wallners, that's exactly what we did. Christine and I couldn't be happier with our experience working with Rodney and Jen Wallner. And Tim, the numbers speak for themselves.
That's right, Tony. Everybody knows the Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. And if you're looking to sell your home, right now they have so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. They're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, so no matter where you are in the St. Louis region, you can put the Wallners' experience and work ethic to work for you. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call Rodney and Jen Wallner now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob Carter. Did you know that every day 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 and need help deciphering their Medicare options? I want to tell you about my lifelong friend, Pamela Berry, Pilgrim Pammy. She has over 2 decades of experience dealing with Medicare insurance. She's an expert specializing in business owners, but she can assist you too. She'll help you navigate and uncomplicate Medicare. With nearly 70 plan options, special enrollments may be available. Call Pilgrim Pammy at 314-659-9841.
Next Gen with Danny Define.
I think we can all agree 2024 is only going to get crazier leading up to the election. But hey, it makes for some great radio.
Next Gen with Danny Define debuts Sunday night at 10.
So hop on the roller coaster with me every Sunday on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this dysfunctional radio station. It's The Right Mind Show with me, Todd Showalter, at 5 on Saturday. And, you know, speaking of dysfunctional, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
We mentioned a little bit earlier when it comes to elections and how much your voice matters. Sometimes that's really cliche when you hear it in the upcoming August primaries and you hear it in the general election in November. And it does matter. That's your voice. But when policy wonks and news nerds like us say, hey, in these municipal elections, it matters even more. Your voice is even louder. I don't think a lot of people register that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 8:52 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer here. Got Stella Pontigas here. Danny Define here with us as well.
Yay.
A lot of people going, where the heck has been Danny Define has been? Well, he's back and he's on News Talk STL starting this weekend.
Out of hibernation. It's good to be back, guys.
That's right.
Spring. Yeah.
And by hibernation, we mean no compete clause.
Yeah. That's one way of saying it.
That's one way of saying it.
In layman terms, yes.
But get this. Okay, so I mentioned yesterday in Maplewood, there's a lot of drama in Maplewood. Now listen, regardless of where you live, pay attention to this, okay? Because every once in a while somebody runs a write-in campaign and you just go, that's cute. That's fine. You know.
Yeah.
Snoopy for president.
Right.
Nice little protest vote there.
And
cool.
once again, I congratulate my wife for her one vote for mayor in Richmond Heights yesterday. But in Maplewood, which is a very, very leftist community, they elected a fringe, extreme left-winger to be mayor a couple years ago. Her name's Nicholas. Where is it? Yeah, Nicklin Napper is her name. And I mean, total social justice warrior. It's all about the LGBTQ, AI, EIO, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags. I mean, everything's about that.
Up, down, left, right.
Yes. And nobody filed to run against her, as I mentioned yesterday. I said, but there was a big write-in campaign for a former mayor named Barry Greenberg. And he said, yep, I'll do it. And so they got together, the business community and a lot of people. And get this, guys, Barry Greenberg won the mayor's seat as a write-in candidate with 63% of the vote.
That's wild.
That is telling the incumbent, you suck, go away.
We had a meeting. We decided that we hated you.
That's a statement right there.
Yeah.
That's when you need to go do a little soul searching, maybe walk around a pond, listen to the Dust in the Wind by Kansas, and just really reevaluate your life. Go skip some rocks. Wow. Yeah, good for Barry.
Yeah.
What a landslide victory there.
Yeah, and here's the thing is if this were an election and he filed to run for office and he won, I probably don't even mention it on the show because it's, one local race among hundreds that happened yesterday. But I just found it fascinating because I thought about a week ago, I think I said to the guys that I don't know if we were on the air or not, I said, I'm seeing a lot of signs and every business on Manchester is actively pushing this stuff right in Barry Greenberg to all their customers. I said, I think this guy could actually win, but I didn't think almost 2/3 of the vote.
That's wild. It's so crazy. It really is. It's as though he unlocked some sort of cheat code. It's like, wait a minute. How did you get 60% of the vote here?
That just speaks to the power of the community, though. And when people all get together and they're, pushing for one common goal or initiative, it's pretty incredible to see. There's definitely power in numbers there.
Yeah.
Well, there is. And, it's getting organized. And there's obviously the campaign part of this here. But when people say, it's impossible, well, this shows you it's not impossible. Yeah. Especially at a local level.
Absolutely. And especially in these sorts of elections where the election can turn on just a few votes.
Yeah.
In this case, it turns on a lot more.
Okay, still, my screen still hasn't reset up here. Do we have...
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have Andre on line 2. And Andre, you had a couple comments about the Prius and Tesla situation.
Oh, yeah.
I think that Tesla's batteries are kind of the ones that are having the big problems with the temperature and stuff. But your Prius sticker reminded me, when I was in the Marine Corps, I saw on base a Prius that had a sticker that says, I drive a Prius, but underneath it said, so I can afford more ammo. And I was like, I can get behind that. Okay, I understand.
Respect. Get your priorities straight.
Right, exactly.
Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks, Andre. Appreciate it. Yeah, my daughter had a Prius, and she had nothing but problems. Now, part of the problems were not the Prius's fault because she was one of the victims of the catalytic converter thefts.
Okay, yeah.
But the batteries she just had constant problems with the batteries.
I'll tell you what, man. I think I'd be more scared of somebody in a Prius with an AR-15 than somebody in an F-150 with an AR-15.
Yeah.
Because with that, I'm like, oh, it's on brand. But somebody rolls up in a Prius, I'm like, well, this guy, they're conflicted here. I don't want to mess with that. I don't know.
Unpredictable, man.
Unpredictable, right.
The guy with the Prius and a gun's going to be the least popular. He's going to be scorned at the coffee shop.
Yeah. When he goes in strapped to get his macchiato.
He's going to show up at the Greenpeace meeting, and they're like, how dare you?
He's a they, them, but he has a MAGA hat on. He drives a Prius, but he has an AR-15.
What is happening?
He's rolling a joint, but he's got a pro-life sticker on his Prius. I'm like, where is this guy? He's all over the place.
Wait, doesn't that just make him non-binary?
Yeah, exactly. Non-binary.
You can't define him by just the two things.
You can't.
Politically non-binary.
Politically non-binary.
Maybe
there
that's
you go.
how it is.
We just invented something.
Oh,
man. New political party.
All right. Starting Sunday, Danny, your new show. We got 20 left here. Let's remind everybody.
So the Next Gen with myself, Danny Define, it'll air this Sunday, 10 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. We're going to be covering national news, global news, local politics. We're going to have some great guests on. Business owners, politicians, even some comedians in the area. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be informative. You're going to laugh. Like I said, you're going to cry. You're going to think, but it's going to be a really fun show, and I hope you can all join 10 p.m. this Sunday.
Thanks for hanging out with us today, man.
All right. I appreciate it, guys.
Vic Porcelli coming your way on 94.1 and 101.9 News Talk STL.
The wait is over. Capriati's is now open. Taste extraordinary with our one-of-a-kind sandwiches, like our award-winning Bobby with hand-pulled butterball turkey and stuffing, our roast beef with hand-sliced American Wagyu beef from Snake River Farms, or our crowd-favorite classic cheesesteaks with your choice of grilled steak or chicken. No matter which you choose, you'll always get Capriati's high-quality ingredients. Capriati's. Eat extraordinary. Order now at capriatis.com or on the app.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo for my friends at A Plus Plumbing and Drain, and they truly are our friends because they have done it all at our house over the years, from putting in a new faucet to installing a whole new bathroom from scratch. The team at A